Welcome, everybody. Welcome from Colorado, from Texas, from Colorado Springs. My name is Paul Mascarenas. I'm the Assistant Librarian and Academic Resources Manager here in the Writing Center. Really pleased to welcome you to this webinar, What's New in the CSU Global Library, presented by the CSU Global Library and Writing Center. The session is being recorded. So for those of you who are unable to attend, you should all receive a link to the recording if you've registered for this particular webinar, and it's also archived on the Writing Center, and I'll share that link with you a little later in the chat, where all of our webinars and past webinars are archived and that you have access to. And we have a really excellent presentation for you today. Before we get started, again, thank you for sharing in the chat where you're all coming from. We also have a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So if you have a question during the presentation, and we'll have an opportunity at the end also to have a Q&A section, but please feel free to drop any questions in there and we'll definitely make time to answer your questions. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our speaker. Many of you may already know Jeff Wall is our CSU Global Director of Library Services, and he's been the Director of Library Services since 2019. Prior to coming to work for CSU Global, he's was the library director at Front Range Community College in Colorado for 13 years before working from Front Range and worked as a librarian for several law firms in Denver. Jeff, CSU Global combines the best of both of these worlds as has an educational aspects of an academic library and the fast pace that he's grown accustomed to at a law firm. So he holds a master's in library science degree from Emporia State University and a Bachelor of Science in Music, which he earned from University of Colorado at Denver. Jeff is a Colorado native who grew up on a farm in Akron, Colorado, and currently resides in Broomfield, Colorado with his wife. When not working, he enjoys playing guitar, reading, bicycling, and hiking. And so without further ado, let me introduce to you Jeff, and thank you, Jeff, for providing this for us.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who is attending this today. I am so happy to have this opportunity to share some new information with you. And I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so I'll be sniffling and possibly coughing and clearing my throat and drinking a lot of water during this. So hopefully that's not too distracting. So what I want to cover with you today, we have two new databases this year that are really great. And I want to talk about those, show those briefly. One is called IBIS World, which is an industry profile database. And another one is called O'Reilly. And O'Reilly is kind of an all things technology sort of database. And it has other things in it too, business and leadership and management, but it's mostly centered on technology. And then the big news that I want to talk about is we are going to have a new discovery service. So let me share my screen here. We'll get this out of the way here. Okay, Paul, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So this up here is called the discovery service. This searches all the library databases at once. You've probably used this quite a bit and didn't know it was called EBSCO Discovery Service. This is going to get upgraded. And we're going to switch over probably the first week of January. And so we're going to talk about this. There's a new system coming for here that's different. And we're just going to try to show you some of the things that are different about it and how to work with it. It's not all that different. I'm learning it pretty quickly. But so we'll be taking some questions too as we go. But I do want to make sure we get through all these three things. This thing here, the new discovery system, is going to be the big thing. So I'm going to cover the other databases kind of quickly. Then we'll go into the big thing, which is the new discovery system. Okay, so systems like this are great. They search all the databases at once, but they don't really. You're still going to miss a lot of things from a lot of the individual databases. So right over here, if you go to library databases A to Z, you can see all the databases we have. And there are certain databases, like the two I'm going to show you today, that are really best searched, in my opinion, on their own. Because these systems are so huge, they tend to lose a lot of the information that would come directly from really specific databases like this. So under I here, the first one is called IBIS World. And if I click I here under the A to Z databases, this IBIS World, here it is right here. You can click on that and open it up. I already have it open over here. This is an industry profile database. So this is not a database that has articles or ebooks or videos like you're used to seeing. This is a profile of different industries. And this could be great for a business report that you're doing, a marketing report. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go click right here to industries. And let's just look at some different industries. So how about we click information? And then it comes up with all these different types of industries we could look at profiles for. Let's go to video game software publishing. And again, what this is going to be, it's not going to be an article about it. It's going to be a report just trying to give you a snapshot of everything that's going on in this industry. Right over here, there's a table of contents for all the chapters. It's a huge report. This report is just huge. You can download the full report right over there. You can search through the report right there. And we'll just kind of just scroll through this a little bit. We'll just kind of, you can just kind of see all the things that's going through here. It's going at a glance, products and services, barriers to entry. Like if you wanted to get into this business, what things would be a barrier to you? What are the regulations you're gonna have to deal with? All the different things here. There's a SWOT analysis of this industry. Who are the major players? If you click on these, you can see who the major companies are doing business in this industry. And if you click on there, you could get some more information about them. Key external drivers, obviously disposable income, broadband connections. And then since it's such a big report, sometimes it will kind of pause a little bit, loading next chapter. So if you see it kind of, and with these things, if you want to see everything in this area, the executive summary of this industry, just click show all. But if you see it pausing, just keep scrolling or click another area over here to get to. So this is really neat. We haven't had a database really that does this before. I love how visual it is. Just going to keep scrolling through here. We're only like halfway through the report. It's pretty big. I think this would really help you if you were doing a report where you were talking about the video game industry, for example. And it's really easy to use. It's not like a real search intensive heavy database. You can, if you want to search it, you can also search it. Let's go back here to the home page. Let's say we wanted to search home construction. And it comes up with different things. Let's see all the results here. There's all sorts of things that are related: heating and air conditioning, building inspectors in the US, paint, lumber, and building materials. And if you're not finding what you're looking from there, I find really good results by going to this industry thing. And then like here, let's go to construction. I think it's a pretty good browsing thing here. Let's go to construction. Here we go. That's what I was looking for, home builders. So it had it a little bit different than the search. So if you don't find exactly what you're looking for in the search, like I put in home construction and I knew we had to have a report on that. I went from here to IBIS World. I went home, I went into industries. I browsed through construction industries and it brought up all the related industries, and home builders was right there. That's what I was looking for. So if you're not finding what you're looking for through the search, go to that industries area and browse through. And so again, we get all this information on this industry. So it's a pretty easy database to use. There's really not too much to show you. What I would really encourage you to do, and what would help me out a lot, go to the library website. If this is of interest to you and you're studying something where you think this would be of use, go in here to the library databases, A to Z, find IBIS World, open it up, and start running some searches in it. Start running some searches. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you have any questions, if you need any help using it. But that's pretty much it. It's a pretty easy database to use. It's got different information than we've ever had, and I think it's a really easy to read report database here. So I know that was pretty quick. Does anyone have any questions on that database? And if you don't, that's okay. We'll just go on into the next database, which I'm very, very excited to go get into. Anything, Paul, anything in the Q&A or anything?
So far, no questions. I'm not seeing any.
Okay,
And you may have mentioned this in the IBIS world, but just everything's organized by the NAICS number, right? It's
yes.
all identified in the industry. Um, there is a question, does IBIS World provide the sources that they got their data from? It's a really good question.
Well, you know, IBIS World really is the source. They write these reports themselves. So that's a good question. Look through here. I would say go through here and see. I'm not exactly sure. That's a really good question. Um, but this is a company that this is what they do. They they study these and compile these reports. So they do list the author of each report. This is the analyst working for IBIS World. But that's a good question. It's probably mostly coming from government reports and things like that. But I guess I haven't seen, look through it. You might be able to tell more quickly than I can. But look through it and see. Um, I'm not exactly sure about that.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The author is an analyst who works specifically for IBIS World, so they would be, if you were needing to cite this,
That's a good
you
question.
would probably
Now,
cite it as IBIS World as the organization that's providing this with an author as
yes,
Matthew Pygot or Pigot.
that's a
Um,
really good question. Now, there is a citation feature in this, but it's not very good. Okay, right over here, if you click this question mark, how do I cite an IBIS World report? And you will see this with these citation things. Like, here's the APA style. That's not right.
mm,
There should be an author listed first. So this is just, and you don't have to say retrieved from, so that's not right. I would cite one of these reports like this. You're generally going to find an author, list the author. Usually it looks like the date of publication. They have a month and then, or a year and a month. Do the year, comma, the month, put the title of the report you're looking at, and then IBIS World. Now, since it's a library database, APA does not want to see a link at the end because the links are generally messy, they're long, and you see CSU Global in here. This is not a standard link. This is a link created specifically for us. But if your instructor insists on seeing a link, even though APA does not recommends not including links for library databases, then just pull this link right here. But generally speaking, it's a pretty simple citation. This is how I would cite it. I don't see any numbers for the reports, so APA in some of their recommendations will say, what's the report number? I don't see report numbers on this. So this is how I would cite something from this. Pretty simple. Again, I don't take their suggestions. Their suggestions to me look pretty wrong.
all of those citation generators can sometimes be a little suspect, but
Yep.
thank you for that question. I
Mhm.
don't have any other questions at this time.
Okay, let's move on to the next database, which I'm really, really excited about. I've wanted this database for a long time. This database is called O'Reilly. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as O'Reilly for online learning or O'Reilly Online. Here we go, A to Z databases. Just go to O for this. There's O'Reilly Online Learning. I already have it open over here. This is a database that is great for technology, computer programming, anything, AI, machine learning, anything like that. It also has a lot with business and leadership and management and things like that. And this is a database that will ask you over and over again to accept the cookies. I've seen that over and over again. It'll ask for cookies. So what you do here, I'm just going to search for something that I know they have. I'm going to search for Python. So anyone who's into you're studying computer science, this database is a gold mine for you. Again, I'm happy to accept the cookies. You'll have to accept the cookies a lot. Okay, so over here, it brought back all these things. There's full books in here on these computer languages. There's courses. There's full courses on here you could take. There are videos. There's audio books. Let's just look at the formats here. So there's books. There's courses. There's videos, audiobooks, shortcuts. There's a few articles, not too many. And then playlists. These are playlists put together by people at O'Reilly that suggest a certain learning path for you. So if you just open up one of these, this is going to open up to the full book. And it's a huge database, and it can be a little bit slow. So I'm having to accept cookies again. They'll ask you over and over again for that. And then here's the table of contents over here where you can just get into this book. Let's go back here and look at a few other things. So let's say for formats here, after this loads and I accept my cookies again, let's say courses here. So I want to learn more about Python, and I'd like to attend a course where someone presents to me on this. So we'll open this up. Again, it's not the fastest database in the world. Got a lot of content in it. And then here's the course right here. And these courses are kind of like LinkedIn Learning courses, if you're familiar with those. And it's probably not broad. There we go.
One of the things that you're going to see as you get into Python is that it's a smaller programming language than some of the other C-based languages you may be familiar with. And you'll start.
So got a full course in there. It's really an amazing database. I'm really happy that we have that. One thing that's kind of cool here is they have audiobooks too. That could be kind of interesting to listen. We've never had an audiobook database before. So here is an audio recording of this book, Deep Learning with Python. So really happy about this. It doesn't just have computer things in it. That's what it's really known for. If we go, let's go to the home here. Let's go up here. So you can tell very computer oriented, but also there's business here. Click on business. They've got quite a bit on project management, I've noticed in here. Pretty good human resources, marketing. So there's a lot of different things in here. Just go in here again, go in here and play around with this database. It would really help me out if you would go in here, play around with it, work with this, and let me know what you think about it. Also, when you're doing, one thing that's really neat about this database that I really like, you can create your own playlists on this. If you find some things you'd like to go back to, I'm going to open up this course here. You have,
Welcome to this course.
Right up here, you have a profile, and you're already logged into your individual profile on this, okay? So I have my playlists here, and these are going to be, you notice I didn't have to log in individually like most databases would make you do. And I've created these playlists of these books that I'd like to go back to. And when I'm in this course we were just in, let's see if we can accept cookies again. And somewhere in here, I can add this to my playlist. Let's see, there's the table of contents. Well, I can't quite find it right now, but I know it's in here.
Is it those 3 lines on the
Let's
side
take a
there?
look. That's the table of contents.
Oh, that's not it. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. In here somewhere though, generally speaking, I've been able to find that here. What happens here? Viewer settings? No. So, well, that's kind of embarrassing, but you can add things to playlists. This one I can't. Oh, wait, right here. I knew we'd find it if we looked around. Right here, add to playlist. So if I click here, I can add this to a playlist I already have, or I can create a new playlist. So let's say I was going to create a playlist. Well, actually, I already have a Python playlist. That would be good to do that. So now it's in that playlist. Now, in my playlists, when these open up here, these are generally just playlists for me, but if I would want to share one of these playlists with someone else, I could open this up and share. And this is a private playlist for me right now. But if I wanted to share this with another student or an instructor, I could click here, the CSU, and this would open it up to everyone at CSU Global. And then you could share this playlist with them. or anyone else in the world, if you would want to do this. I'm not sure why you would want to, but if you would want to, you could, maybe you wanted to help other people out. You think you have a really good playlist that would help someone out. You could create a public playlist so that anyone at any library out there with a subscription to O'Reilly could find your playlist. So it's a pretty simple database to use. I like how simple it is. Get in here, mess around with it, and it's really, especially if you're in the computer sciences, it is just a gold mine of information for you. I'm really happy we have this. Please get in here and use it and let me know about it. Let me know what your experience is like. And on that, with the library, here's my email address right there. There's my phone number. There's a general library email address there too. And if you ever want an individual session to go over any kind of questions you have of research, whatever, just click right there and you can book a session with me. I do these sessions all the time and very easy to do. Just fill out this form. Make sure you tell me what time zone you're in. That's the hardest thing to negotiate. And then I will email you back a meeting invitation, and then we'll meet over Zoom. How are we doing, Paul? Any other questions we have?
We had one question, which it brings up an interesting resource that's included in O'Reilly are the
Okay,
courses. They asked if we have to pay for any of the courses or resources, or are they all available within O'Reilly? You know how sometimes they'll see a
right.
link that you go to and you think, wow, we
Mhm,
have access to all this, and you go to it and then there's a paywall. But I don't believe so. If you are at
mhm.
the top and you see the start learning, and then there's
Yeah.
courses. If you select that and select which area you're interested in taking a course, it looks like you are able to take the courses.
Mhm. Yeah, I've never seen anything in here that charged money for it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've never found that in here. Everything that I've seen is free in here. Well, not free, but everything in here is already paid for you. So if you if you were to Google these things and go to it outside the library, it would ask you to pay for a subscription. But just make sure you go through the library A to Z list, and then go right there, or save this as a favorite somewhere if you're going to use this a lot. And then you won't have to pay for anything. You will also, especially if you're in computer science courses, you're probably going to start seeing a lot of resources from this database loaded into your courses already, like a certain video or a chapter from a book. Um, but it's an entire library in itself of technology and business related information. I'm really excited we have it.
Somebody, Christopher has a question, was asking, so you search a specific playlist, for instance. If I wanted a playlist someone has already built for project management, I can just search it.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Let's do an example here. Just run a search here. And then once this loads, I could just go here to playlist. Now, I'd probably be most interested in this, the expert playlist. These are people who work for O'Reilly who've put together lists of project management materials, but you can go to public too, and you can see the playlists in there. So if let's click an expert playlist. So here someone has put together project management essentials playlist. And let's take a look what they have in here. Now, again, like I said, you have to do accept cookies over and over again in this database. Okay, so there's a course on project management. There's anyone who's studying project management, I'm sure you're familiar with this book, Guide to Project Management Body of Knowledge, known as the PMBOK, Project Management Absolute Beginner's Guide, PMP Certification Complete Video Course and Practice Test. That's nice. That's nice. Here's another course on a project management exam, the AI revolution in project management. So yeah, just when you're doing searches here, kind of the key is just remember, and if this is closed up, just open that up, formats, and then just click what you're looking for. You could also go here, publication date. Now this is kind of limited here. It just has up to like the last 2 years. But if you want to see things at a broader level than that, what you could do, it sorts by relevance, which is how many times your term shows up in the material, but you could sort it by publication date over here too. or date added and look at an entire list of everything just listed by date. You might want to sort by level, beginner, intermediate, advanced. This is kind of nice. Duration. How long is it going to take me to read this or watch this course? Maybe you want something kind of short. Click there. And here's a introduction to project management. It's hopefully not going to take you too long. Product manager versus project manager, 21 pages. This shouldn't take you too long to read that. So there's things I'm learning about this database every day. Every time because it's new to us, I'm still learning about it, and there's a ton of stuff in here. And a lot of times the best resource for us all to learn about it is just let's all get in here and use it. And I guarantee if you use it, you're going to learn a lot of things about it that I haven't even shown you today. There's all sorts of stuff in here.
Yeah, somebody had asked about can the files in the playlist be saved on your personal computer?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, I don't know. I have a feeling not. Let's go here. Let me go to my playlist. Databases generally are they don't want to give you everything. They want to give you access to everything while you're using it at that school. But they're kind of hesitant to just let you download everything. Let's open up this book here. I don't think that there's a download in here. You can add it to a playlist. Let's go into here's part 1 of this book. I think you can just add it to a playlist. I don't see any place where you can download the full thing. So that's one catch a lot of times of online databases, and I can understand the publisher doesn't want to just give away every book they have. But as long as you're a student here, you can certainly use it all for free.
Yeah, some of them will let you download a chapter. Some
Yeah.
do not have that availability, that functionality. But no more questions.
EBSCO ebooks are pretty good about you can download chapters, but they generally don't last forever. They will last for like 8 weeks and then they'll disappear from your computer.
Mhm.
Isn't that another question, Paul?
No, no other questions. Christopher just mentioned it may have to do with copyright. Um,
Yeah.
but no, no more other questions.
Okay, are we ready to jump into the huge part of this presentation where we look at the new EBSCO discovery system? Oh
That
boy,
sounds great.
this is a big deal. It's been a long time since EBSCO has updated their interface. So up here, you're probably used to using this, or this is how I usually use it. I click advanced search and then open it up. So you're probably pretty used to this. This searches all of our databases at once. And this is going to get a new look. So right here, I have an announcement here. Here's the new link to EBSCO Discovery Service. And what would be really great is if you would go in and start using this and start using it. Let me know of any problems you run into. You notice it looks a little different. It's still the same basic idea. We're going to put these kind of side by side, but it does look a little different. I'm going to put this one over here so it's easier to remember. This is what they're going to call EBSCO Discovery Service Classic. And I'll say EDS for short, EDS Classic, and this is the new EDS, okay? So let's talk about a few things that are different. A lot of things are the same, some things are different. And right here, I have here, please test this out and let us know if you have any questions. If you do have questions about it, just click right there. We'll load an email you can send to us. This guide right here contains how-to videos on how to use this new interface. There's a link to it right there, which there's a link to it on the homepage too. But these are all videos that will help, that are going to show you how to do hopefully everything you'll need to know about this, and we'll talk about these things today. So I'm just going to type in here, just do a basic search. Okay, pretty similar. And right here, let's say I'm looking for transformational or transformative. So it still does things where you can put an asterisk there. I'm going to do some version of the word transform. Okay, so transformational, transformative. And I'm going to do or here, or servant. So some kind of leadership, transformative or servant. Got an extra key in there. Now let's do a search. Okay, so just like the old system, they'll find something that they think is the most related and put it right up here up top, a research starter. This kind of is just a good place to start. They're looking at, they're thinking, okay, this is what you're searching for. This might be a good place to start for you to sum up a lot of these ideas. Then we get into the books and articles and videos that it's going to find. Okay. Now, a big difference between this one and the old one, the system we're using now, if we did that same search here, and we did this search, in the old system, this search box, this advanced search box follows you, and you could type in a new term here and just keep searching. This is something I don't really like about this new system, but this is the way it is, and I can't get them to change it. If you want to change things in your search, you have to click advanced search. When we do that, it does save what you just had searched for. Okay, so it does save it, but instead of here where it just follows you, this is the biggest thing I've noticed is different is once you do a search here, I'll say now, let's say leadership has to be in the title. It puts everything into this one search bar. If you want to change your search terms, you have to click advanced search. Okay, and it'll go back, and you can do it as many times as you want. And just like in the old system, if you run out of boxes to search, you can add boxes right there. Okay, let's add here some version of the word psychology. So psychology, psychological. So I'm, whoops, and I got to spell this correctly. I put the S in the wrong place. So we start off spelling psychology, and then I put an asterisk here for any ending. Psychological, psychology. Let's run our search. Okay. So that's the biggest difference is you have to click this if you want to go back and change what you're looking for. Now, up here, it's bringing up books, articles, just everything it can find. Sometimes, or a lot of times in courses, they'll say, I want you to use at least 4 peer-reviewed articles. Right here, what you would do is just click this. And when a limiter is on, it shows up as blue. So right now we have it set up by default to bring you back everything you have full access to. Okay. If you wanted to turn that off, you could. If you do turn this off, it'll bring up a lot of things you don't have full access to. So I always leave that on. But you click here, peer review. Now it's going to go through and it'll bring back only things from peer-reviewed articles. Notice it's blue now. Okay. That's a little tricky. It took me a while to figure that out because that little check mark there, which is always, that check mark's always there, kind of looks like to me it's always on, but it's not. If I turn it off, it's not shaded blue. But if I turn it back on, it's shaded blue. Okay. Here, this is when it was published. It seems like generally at CSU Global, they're looking for the last 5 years. So there's a nice little shortcut there. You could say, just show me the last 5 years. Let's go back to all time here. And source type, let's take peer reviewed off so we get, because if it's just peer reviewed, it's only going to be articles. Source type, you could click here and you could say, let me just look at the ebooks. And now everything is going to be book. And just like O'Reilly, all these books that come back, you will have full access to these books. Okay. Let me take that off here. We'll take this off and apply this. Some other things I've noticed that are very different. So in the old system, all of your limiters you could see over here on the left. Okay, and it was nice because you could see them. It's a little awkward because you had to scroll down to limit things over here on the left. Okay, the new system, the limits are all still there, but they're right up here where it says all filters. And if you click that, this little box shows up over here. Okay. And you could go in here. We could say, let me look for a good content provider. Since it's a discovery system, it's searching all of our different databases. If you click here, I could look for example, let's look at all the different databases that it's searching right now. I could search just the psychology database. And you can do more than one. Or maybe I'll do SAGE research methods. So I'll look at just, instead of looking just at everything, if I really want to kind of pare this down a little bit, I'll update selections, and then you click apply. So it's different than the other one. In some ways easier because you don't have to do so much scrolling, but there's a few more steps to it. So now everything will be coming from those databases. Now, here's the part that's a little complicated. If you want to turn that off, you click all filters again. I'm going to get rid of that because I don't just want to limit it to that. I don't want to just limit it to this database. Now, I did that. Now you have to click apply. And once you click apply, then it's back to the 3,000 different things that you have over here. Okay. And when you open these up, it's just like the old system. It looks a little bit different, but right here, you can go in and view the full article there. This first thing that brings up is kind of like a summary of the article. Okay. One thing that is different, okay, in the old, there's a number of things that are different. In the old system, if you opened up an article, there was a citation feature. There's still a citation feature, don't panic, but the citation feature was on the right here and it said cite. And then you would go down to like an APA citation and copy and paste that and edit it. And like Paul was saying earlier, these citation creators always have to be edited. There's always some kind of problem with them. So don't just grab a citation, but they're good to use. This one, it's right here, this little quote, a little quotation mark. You click there, and then you look for APA citation, and then it generates an APA citation. And copy and paste this. This one looks like a pretty good one. I don't see that there's much editing that would have to be done on this one. But when you copy and paste these, there are always edits that have, I generally speaking, not always. I would say, geez, 80% of the time, there's edits that have to be made. And on this guide for the new system, the APA citation generator, there's a video right here that shows you how to use it and the corrections you would have to make with it. So how are we doing? Everybody still with me? I know I'm really talking a lot about this stuff. Are we still with me? Paul, any burning questions people have?
No burning questions, but somebody
Okay.
does have one. I guess you can consider it a burning question. What does
Hmm.
export citation mean?
That you won't need to use. This, let's see here.
Isn't that related to like a
Oh,
service? Like if we
yes.
subscribed to
If you
any of these?
subscribe to a system like EasyBib or RefWorks, you could send it into that. We don't have an institutional subscription to any of these things. If you have a personal subscription to it, you could export the citation into one of those. But we don't have any of those services, so I would recommend just doing the site here. Are we ready for the next level?
I think we're ready.
Okay. One of the biggest differences that I have seen in this older system, which is absolutely great, one of the coolest features is you can create your own folders within this system. Okay. And you may not have known about this. This is one of the coolest features. You can go to sign in here. And if you haven't, it has my sign in already saved. If you haven't done this, do create, you can create an account here. This doesn't seem to work all that well, the sign in with Google. I've seen people have problems with that. I would recommend create an account. You just click on this and then you can create an account in here. But I already have an account, so I'm going to sign in. And once you sign in, you'll notice I have this folder here. and I have these saved articles. Now, I didn't just search for these just now. I saved these from previous sessions. And when I signed into my personal account, it remembered all the articles I wanted to save. Also over here, I have all these folders. I have these folders for these things I would want to go back to. So there's the ebooks I had saved from my PMBOK so that I don't always have to look for those things. That's the nice thing. I have my little bookshelf here in my little folders, okay? Now this is great. It's different in the new system though. Let me go back to my just general folder here. Whoops, let me go back here. Okay, in the new system, the folders are called projects, okay? And that general folder that everything was saved into before it was organized is just called saved. So I'm going to log in, and to sign in, you sign in right here where it says my EBSCO. Okay, and you can create an account right there. It's the same sign in. Notice it looks the same. It's got my same sign in. So if you created a sign in the old system, you shouldn't have to create a sign in the new system. Okay. But here's what I've noticed. When I go to my projects did not carry over. My folders from the old system did not carry over. Notice the projects are not the same as my folders. Okay. So if you are someone who uses this a lot, if you don't do anything, like here's what I've noticed for Paul and I figured out. The things in the my folder, the general unorganized articles, these will carry over. Okay. So if I go here to save, these articles that I didn't have organized into folders yet, these did carry over. But my projects, which the folders, which they now call projects, did not carry over. So unless I do something, which I'm going to show you how to do it, I'm going to lose all the stuff I have in these folders because I think it's the first, we're still kind of debating. It's either going to be the last week in December or the first week in January. We're going to switch over to this new system. And when we switch over, we're going to lose access to the old system. And if you've been using this a lot, you'll lose all your folders. Here's what you need to do if you want to make sure your articles carry over. And like I said, or hopefully I made this clear at the beginning, we have access to both systems now. So if you use folders a lot in the old system, I would recommend going into the new system. You can use both systems or either, whichever one you want. And it would be good to start getting your folder set up. So since things in this unorganized my folders section do carry over to in the new one, what's called saved. If there's a folder you want to keep, I don't want to lose my PMBOK stuff, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into that folder. I'm going to select everything that's in there, and I'm going to move it to my folder. This is just the unorganized general area. Now notice there's nothing in there anymore. If I go just to the general unorganized area of my folder, those will be there. And it takes a little while to update, but these will eventually show up in my saved area so that I don't lose these. And what I would do then when these things come over is I would create a new project over here. For projects, these are what they used to call folders. I think it makes more sense to call them folders, but they call them projects now. You can create a new folder right here and call it whatever you want. I already have a project management folder, so I'll call this my ebooks folder. Okay. Now in the saved area, they probably haven't made it over yet. It takes a while for them to update. But probably later today, those things I added to the folder will show up in here. But let me just do a search here. We'll do a new search. Let's see if it's smart enough to find PMBOK. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click right here to save this. And it's going to go into my saved area. And that one's in Chinese. I don't need that one. They have in all kinds of languages. Let me just do another. Let me take off 7th edition. Do a search here. Let's do 6th edition. Unbox 6th edition. And what I'm going to do here, source type. Let's look at all the different things here. Let's just show me the ebooks. I applied that. And if I don't find exactly what I'm looking for, I'll just grab something and throw it in here. There's the 6th edition. So I click this little, which looks like a blue ribbon there, saved it. Now, when I go to my saved area, there's those books here. And I want to move this one into, I'm either going to move it into my project management or my ebook folder. So right here, tools, add to a project. I'm going to choose a project. There's my, I'm probably going to put it in the project management. Add now. Now it's still here. And let's see if I can find that other one. There we go. There's the other one. I'm going to add that to my project management. I'm still calling it a folder, but they call them projects now. Now, if I don't need this in this general folder anymore, since I already have it in a project, I can just click that little blue ribbon next to it. And then it disappeared from this general saved area. Because now, if all is working like it should be under projects, if I go to my project management folder, there I've got my books and a bunch of other things I'd say. So that's how that works. It's a really good system. It's just, if you've been using this a lot, go into these folders and take the things out of the folders and put them into the general area. And then they should eventually show up in your saved area, and then you can organize them into projects. If that's a problem, if you're having a problem with that and you want to make sure you keep everything, then you might want to go in and search one at a time for these things and resave them. That's the biggest downside I see to this new system, is it didn't carry over the folders from our previous the previous thing. Okay, here's a nice link for the library how-to videos. You can click into there. Some of you are probably familiar with that. Take you to the how-to videos to show you all about different things. I probably should add a different link on here where we also have a link into this guide. Let's see, where did it go? I think I lost it, but right up here, if I lost it, we can just click here into this guide that shows us how to use all the new aspects of this. I probably should add another link down here. Other library resources right here. It's kind of nice. Checkpoint is an accounting database. There's a link to it right there. It's not searched very well by this system. So if you want to go directly to Checkpoint, you can go right there. LinkedIn Learning is not searched at all by this database. EBSCO and LinkedIn Learning can't figure out how to be compatible. O'Reilly is searched for it, but I just put these links here as nice other databases you might want to go into. This is not searched very well by this system. This is not searched at all. So if you clicked on LinkedIn Learning, it would take you directly in there. And let's go back here to the main. So let me do a new search here. If you're running into troubles, you want some help with something, right here, ask a librarian. If you click this little bubble here, it comes up with a form and you can ask your question. It knows it's me since I'm logged into CSU Global. And right here, I'm going to click this as the email address. And then I'm going to type in my question here. If you have any kind of question, just type this in. I'll get an email then, and I'll answer your question. And because I'm already logged into CSU Global, this is probably going to find the right email address. If for whatever reason you want to put, you don't have to put your CSU Global address in here if this is already in here. But if for whatever reason you can, but they're just one way or another, make sure I get your email address so I can get back to you. Here you would just type in your question. I'm having trouble finding these types of articles. Can you help me out with this? I can't find this database. So there's that. And again, that's this little help button right here, ask a librarian. Okay, one thing that's, you can see if this is working. One thing that's kind of nice that I do like about the new database is we can put in databases that are hard to find. So like I had a question yesterday of a student who was in an accounting class who was asked to use the database checkpoint. And what she did, she went into she went into this system, EBSCO Discovery System service to search for checkpoint. And this older system didn't do that. This new one for hard to find databases, we can do that. We can put databases in here so that no matter what you're searching for, hopefully you can find it. And then you click here, and this would take you directly into that database. So there are some really nice things about this that I think will simplify a lot of things, because like this student did this yesterday. She just went in, typed in a search for this database, and the old system couldn't do that. This new system can do that. This is an accounting specific database if you've never heard of Checkpoint. And she was in a course where an assignment asked her to use it. She couldn't find it, so she searched for it. In this new one, we can add in new things here to direct you to a database that not just an oracle. So we just presented a whole bunch of stuff. This is the new system. I would really appreciate if you went in and started using it. Get used to it. Ask any questions you have about it. I'm learning right now about this system too, so I don't know everything about it. But you could maybe give me some good suggestions. I can't guarantee I can implement your suggestions, but I would certainly read your suggestions and get back to you and discuss it with you. And if there's a new video you think that needs to be made, this is kind of a new guide for these videos for this. And this is separate right now. We do have the library how-to videos, which have kind of all the videos we have. This is kind of its own separate thing, since there's so many videos that we'll need to have to help people to learn. And eventually, when the old system goes away, these will be incorporated just into the general how-to videos. So I really appreciate everyone letting me present on this today. It's kind of scary. It certainly scares me that we're moving to this new system, and I resist change. But it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. We have to upgrade to this new system. The old system just isn't going to exist any longer. I am in contact with EBSCO, giving them a lot of suggestions for fixes they could make on this when I see something that doesn't work quite right. Some of them they're trying to put in, some of them just won't.
So no questions on my
Okay.
end from any of the
Okay.
participants, but there are definitely some thank yous and appreciation
All
for
right.
sharing all of this. Only
Great.
question I have is this interface on the library homepage won't change. Is that correct? It'll still have keyword. I could start
Yes.
my search there, but when it starts the search, it'll just go into the new interface.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? We will see it. I'll believe it when I see it. And I hate to be cynical, but yeah, from my talks with EBSCO, everything they told me, everything we have here should still be functional. It's just going to go to a different place, including this right here, advanced search. It's just going to take you into a different interface. It has all the same information. It just works a little bit differently. And again, the biggest thing that I have noticed is that once you run a search, and this is the biggest complaint I have about it, I really liked that advanced search box following you. But here, if you want to get back to your search, you have to click advanced search. It will retain the searches you were doing. Um, but that's the one thing I find kind of annoying about it. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Yeah, this is great. All new, the
Yeah.
new library smell is gonna come with it, I think. Thanks for sharing that with us,
Yeah.
Jeff. I don't think anybody has any other questions, and you can
Okay.
always reach out to us if you have any questions. As Jeff was showing you, there's that link to ask a question, or you can find any of that information on either the library website or the Writing Center website. You can reach out to us. Sometimes you think of a question later, and we're definitely available and here to answer any questions. Thank you so much, Jeff. Everybody
Definitely.
is very
This is great.
appreciative.
I really appreciate everyone showing up. This is really terrific. Thank you so much. This is great.
Yeah, and everyone should receive a link to the recording. I already shared where we archive all of the past webinars and where this one will reside. You'll also receive a survey with that link please take a few minutes to fill that survey out. It provides us information on future webinars that you're interested in. So definitely please take the time to do that and give us some feedback. But thanks again, Jeff. Appreciate it. All your time
All
and
right.
work and putting into this and getting us ready for the next iteration of EBSCO Discovery Service and keeping us up with all of the really great databases and resources for students. And thank you all for attending and hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank